You found the one. A used Ram 1500, straight body, good miles, fair price. A seller who actually answers the phone. You text it to a buddy who fixes trucks for a living. His whole reply is 2 words. What year? Mechanics grade these trucks by model year first, because 4 specific years create so much repair work that the people doing that work warn their own families off them. So here are the 4 Ram 1500 years to never buy, ranked by the owner complaints piled up at CarComplaints, climbing to the worst year this truck has ever logged. Stay to the end, because the years mechanics do trust are just as specific.
Number 4, 2016.
On paper, this is the safe pick of the list, the last full year of a body style that had been in production long enough to be sorted out. The complaint file says otherwise, and it says it in 5 figures. Start with the transmission, because owners report the 8-speed in these trucks slamming forward right as the truck rolls to a stop, like getting rear-ended with nobody behind you. CarComplaints puts the average bill for that failure at $10,000, landing around 35,000 miles. Hold those 2 numbers next to each other. That is a 5-figure transmission job on a truck barely out of its first set of tires. The engine file is not gentler. Outright engine failure on the 2016 averages about $7,100 at 78,000 miles. The check engine light shows up in complaints averaging $4,600 at just 28,000, and this single model year has drawn over 430 engine complaints to federal regulators. So when you go look at one, know the 2 sounds. A Hemi V8 that ticks loudly on a cold morning and quiets down within a minute or so usually has broken exhaust manifold bolts, a known weak point where a cast iron manifold bolts to an aluminum head and years of heat cycling snap the fasteners, loudest on the driver's side, annoying and fixable. A tick that keeps perfect time after the engine is fully warm is something else entirely, and that something else is the reason number 3 exists. So drive a 2016 in stop-and-go traffic and feel for the shove at every light, then let it idle warm and just listen. 142 complaints on file, and this is the gentle year. Number 3, the 2012. This is the year mechanics hear before they see, because the 5.7 Hemi of this era carries a fuel-saving system that shuts down 4 of the 8 cylinders while you cruise. The hardware doing the shutting down is a set of special valve lifters, and those lifters are the most famous failure point this engine has ever had. One collapses, and the engine starts tapping. Technicians have a name for that sound, and it is not a joke to them. The tick of death. A failed lifter does not stay a lifter problem because it starts wiping the lobe off the camshaft it rides on, which means every mile you keep driving grinds the eventual bill higher. For the 2012, CarComplaints has the number. The average camshaft and lifter repair comes in around $5,200, landing near 119,000 miles. That is the exact stretch of life where a paid-off truck is supposed to start earning its keep, and instead it is getting its engine opened up. What moves this from bad luck to a year you avoid is the paper trail. There has never been a recall for these lifters. Owners took the manufacturer to court instead, and their filings describe service departments telling customers the early tapping was simply how these engines sound. By the time anybody official agreed there was a problem, the camshafts in question were already scrap. The 2012 also carries this generation's electrical gremlins, including trucks that crank with a full tank and refuse to fire. Hold that thought, because the electrical story is about to get its own year. If you are set on a 2012 anyway, the test costs nothing. Let the truck idle at full operating temperature. Stand at the front of the engine and listen. A cold tick that fades can be manifold bolts. A warm, steady tick is a countdown. 199 complaints on file, and the soundtrack comes standard. Quick break at the halfway mark because the 2 years still ahead are the 2 worst files in the cabinet. A shop would bill you an hour of labor for the diagnosis this video is doing. So if the list just crossed a year off your short list, the like button covers the invoice. And I am working through the used market one nameplate at a time. Exact years, exact failures, exact bills. Subscribe, and the next teardown is done before the seller posts the listing. Now, which year wrote the single biggest repair bill in this entire video? Not number 1, it is number 2, the 2013. The headline figure is genuinely hard to read. When the engine in a 2013 lets go, CarComplaints puts the average replacement cost at $11,500 and the average odometer reading when it happens at 45,000 miles. 45,000. There are lease returns with more miles than that. The electronics wrote the rest of this file. The touchscreen that runs the radio, the navigation, and half the cabin has a habit of going black without warning, and those complaints start showing up around 11,000 miles on trucks that were practically new. The power steering has its own line too, averaging $3,600 around 90,000 miles, but the failure mechanics flinch at lives in a gray box under the hood. This generation routes nearly everything, including the fuel pump, through one central fuse and relay computer, and when the little fuel pump relay inside that box goes intermittent, the truck stalls in traffic or strands you cranking in a parking lot. Because the relay is soldered inside the module, the standard fix has long been replacing the entire box, and owners report quotes north of $1,000 for a part that failed by design. Here is the part that should make you angry. Chrysler recalled roughly 335,000 Durangos and Grand Cherokees over that same relay design, and the official remedy was almost insultingly simple: an external relay wired in during about an hour of shop time. The pickup that shared the hardware never got that letter, and the repair industry has been pointing at that gap for a decade. The fix is so well understood that aftermarket external relay kits exist, so if the truck you are looking at already has one wired in, the previous owner did their homework, and that truck just got more interesting, not less. That is the 2013. 295 complaints on file, over 200 of the federal ones filed on the electrical system alone, and the biggest single repair bill in this video, which leaves the year every road in this video has been leading to. 2014, the most complained about Ram 1500 ever built. 387 complaints sit in its file, the record for this nameplate, and CarComplaints ranks it the worst year of the truck outright once repair costs and failure mileage are weighed in. The other 3 years on this list each have a signature problem. The 2014 has a roster. Its headline failure is the one you feel in your hands. The electric power steering can quit while the truck is moving. The wheel goes from fingertip light to gym machine heavy mid-corner, and the average repair lands at $3,100 around 82,000 miles. With a trailer behind you on a 2-lane road, that is not a repair statistic, that is a safety event with an invoice stapled to it. Then the suspension. This generation offered air springs in place of steel, a genuinely nice feature when it works, and on the 2014 that option shows up as a $2,000 average repair around 56,000 miles, with owners describing trucks that sag overnight or kneel on one corner in the driveway. The electrical file opens earlier than either of those, averaging $1,500 at just 30,000 miles, and behind the 3 headliners the cabinet keeps going: 58 transmission reports, 52 engine reports, and the same lifter hardware you heard about at number 3 ticking underneath all of it. That breadth is the real verdict. On the other 3 years, you can inspect your way around the one known failure, listen for the tick, test the shifts, check for the relay kit. On the 2014 there is no single thing to check, because the complaints come from the steering, the suspension, the screens, the transmission, and the engine all at once. And no, pre-purchase inspection clears a truck where the file says everything is eligible. Mechanics warn everyone about this year for the simplest reason in the trade. It is the truck they can never promise is done breaking. 387 complaints, and every system chipped in. Now flip those same files over, because the complaint counts that condemn 4 years also acquit the good ones. On the older body style, the 2017 and 2018 are the payoff years. The same truck after the factory had spent half a decade fixing it in public. The 2017 file holds 82 complaints and the 2018 55, a small fraction of the record you just heard, and the used buying guides consistently rank both among the strongest Rams you can buy. One homework item remains, so give the touchscreen and the electronics a long, patient test on the 2018, because screens are the gripe that lingered longest. On the newer body style, skip the 2019, the redesign's first year, which spiked to 158 complaints while the bugs got worked out. Shop the 2020 and 2021 instead, at 47 and 23 complaints. Let the first owners find the flaws, then buy the year the fixes landed. And one honest line about the newest trucks, because the pattern has not retired. Consumer Reports just handed the current generation the lowest reliability score it has ever given a pickup, which means the discipline in this video is not history. It is the ongoing rule. With this nameplate, whatever decade you shop in, you buy the debugged year. So the map is simple. Same badge, same engine families, same silhouette in the driveway, and the model year quietly decides whether you bought a workhorse or a payment plan made out to your local repair shop. If you turn wrenches for a living, I want your version of this list, so name the RAM year that rolls into your bay the most. Owners are the other half of the data, so give me your year, your mileage, and whether yours has bitten yet. The comment section under a video like this is the cheapest pre-purchase inspection in America.